Hey everyone, LordDavon here. Quick update on the house. I'm not getting that house, so I'll be searching again starting November 1st because somebody told me that's when the banks release all these foreclosures at the beginning of the month, and so I'm going to wait a few days. Anyway, I got to get back to the things that I enjoy, and that is vaping, reviews, and I really enjoy doing this stuff. So without further ado, I am going to be bringing you the Kanger T3. So, the Kanger T3 is a bottom coil Clearomizer. It is a Clearomizer because the tube is clear. It is bottom coil because the heating element is at the bottom of the unit, not the top like most E2 style Clearomizers. What does that mean in the grand scheme of things? Well, not much. It's just a different style, a different way of doing things. We could get technical. I don't do that. So let's get into this unit. First things first, let's compare it to the Kanger T2. This is the Kanger T2 with an aluminum drip tip or an aluminum top. This is a 2.4 ml device. This is the Kanger T3. The Kanger T3 is a 3 ml device. And as you can see, the Kanger T3 is a little bit larger than the Kanger T2. That's about it. Now, the Kanger T3 doesn't have a replaceable top like the Kanger T2 did. Instead, it has a replaceable bottom. So when you fill this, you're going to turn it upside down. You're going to take the base unit off, and it just unscrews. And then you're going to take your bottle, and you're going to fill. Now what I do is I turn the tube ever so slightly, and then I drip into it so that the juice runs down the side of the tube. This way we're not getting any in the center. When you're done filling, and it will go to 3 ml, you're going to place the bottom back over it, and you're going to screw it back on. And then you'll have a filled Kanger T3. I have one right here, already filled for us. Now I've been using this for 2 weeks. I have just replaced the bottom part. I did that because I wanted to get some cleaning done on this one, and the cleaning that I did was place it in vodka, I let it soak, I rinsed it off afterwards and let it dry. You can blow these out, it's no big deal. That was it. And of course I rinsed out the tube. That was all it took. So when you have a filled Kanger T3, what do you do with it? Well, you're going to need to put it on your device. Now that's where the tricky part comes in. This is an ego threaded device, meaning that the skirting here has threading. Let me see if I can get a little bit more light so you can see that. If you can see this, the outside part of the middle has threads. Not this center post like most 510 items. That means it's ego threaded. Now, if you have a device like the Ego C Twist, you're all set. There's nothing you need to worry about. You can just go ahead and screw it right onto your device. But if you have something like the VMAX, well, with the VMAX, you were told, hey, this is ego threaded. It is not. What it does is it has a 510 connector with a deep well around it. This deep well is not ego threading. So, the Kanger T2 will not fit on this device because there's no threads for it. Also, it's too wide. So when you try to put it on, and yes, this is the T2, but they're the same width, it doesn't even fit in the base. So if you have something like the VMAX, the ZMAX, the Evo Transformer, and even though this does look like it would have ego threading, there's no threads on the outside here. So this device needs an adapter. The Acrylomax, the Lambo. These devices need a 510 to ego adapter. And they're quite inexpensive. You can get them in a lot of places. Pro Vape sells one sealed. It's the one that I prefer to use. I carry that in my bag with me. It's a little more expensive, but it's also much better made. But almost anywhere, and this is the actual Pro Vape one, almost anywhere you can find these adapters, and they're usually just a few dollars. When you get them, you can take your device like your VMAX and screw it into the 510 connector. Then once you've done that, you can take any ego threaded device, like the Kanger T3, and just screw it on. And then you're ready to vape. Well, okay, so we've got this on the e-cig twist. I'm going to take this and I'm going to move this over to, let's do something about average. We're going to move it to about 3.5 volts. Now they're coming out with lower resistance T3s, and when they do, they'll work better on standard egos, non-variable voltage ones. Now it works okay at 3.5 volts on the e-cig twist, which is most of your standard style egos, but it's not great. Your Kagos and your Rivas, you know, the higher end Rivas, those have more juice. Those are more around 3.7. You'll get better results, but for those devices, wait for the lower resistance ones. For now, the standard resistance, you're going to want something that has a little bit more oomph for power. Now, one of the problems with the Kanger T2s, a lot of people had issue with the fact that they were so low resistance and they were so sensitive to voltages that if you put them on something that was pulse width modulation, like a Z-Max or a V-Max, they tended to give a burnt taste. Not with this device. This device seems to handle voltages pretty well. I'm going to place it on a Buzz Pro. And I'm going to put it up about medium, which is around 4.4. And it gives a good vape. The least amount I would do on this device is about 3.7 volts. The most I would go is somewhere around 4.4, 4.6. And it seems to handle those variations pretty well, giving you, you know, different ranges of vapor and flavor, and they're quite good. Now, the vapor production is really good on this. Somewhere a little bit less than the Kanger T2. But as far as flavor, it is much better than the Kanger T2. It's better than the Kanger T0 was, and that was pretty impressive. This has a really great flavor. The vapor is a warmer vapor. Now, it's of course not as warm as something that's a top coil, obviously, but it's not cool like the CE3XLs were and the T0s were. It's a warm vape, and I really do like this. When I vape this, I don't feel like I'm vaping a bottom coil. I feel like I'm vaping a top coil with better flavor. So the Kanger T3 to me is a pretty good item. I do really like this. So it's 3 milliliter. It's 2.4 to 2.6 ohms, but of course the ones that they sent me, and these came direct from Kanger, are testing 2.2 to 2.4, which is okay. It's okay. I do like this, and I like it a lot. But again, I'm not so certain that this is the one you want to run out to get right now if you have just a standard Ego-style battery. If you've got something like an e-cig twist, or the higher end, you know, Ego-style batteries like the Kagos and such, those would work much better. Obviously, if you have a VMAX and you have a 510 to Ego adapter, these will work pretty well for you. And I've been using one. I used this one for 2 weeks straight, every day, not all day long, but every day, for at least a few hours a day. without needing to clean it and mess with it. Now, I don't switch juices. I have my flavorful RY4 from Good Profits. As most of you know, I really enjoy that juice, so it's been the same flavor going through it. But I went 2 weeks before it really started to deteriorate with the vapor production and the flavor. And it was starting to give a burnt taste. So cleaning it with vodka, soaking it in vodka, and I soaked it overnight. I don't know if that's overkill, but that's what I did. I rinsed it with warm water and I let it air dry, and it was just like new. I don't know how many times I can do that, but most places are going to start selling these bases for about, I think, $3 a pop. Now you'll find some places cheaper, some places probably more expensive, but those are the bases, and this is what you replace in the unit. And it's nice to replace the actual element that is doing and providing the heating and the wicking and all that, than having to replace the plastics on these devices. So I really like them. Now, as far as where to get these, I know that Discount Vapors is getting theirs in this week. As well, eSmoker Online is getting theirs in this week. Vapor Alley is not getting them yet. I haven't heard back from Happy eSmoker yet. Carolina Vapes is still deciding whether or not she is going to be carrying them, but she probably will. And I believe iVape is going to be carrying them if they don't already. I think they may already be selling them. So if you're out looking for a Kanger T3, and I do recommend you try one. If you like Clearomizers, this one could be king. Alright, so that's the Kanger T3. I'm LordDavon. Let them know I sent you.